Okay, now we have seen how to perform the logic of update function. We have updated the data, and also we have seen whenever we are having user ID, only then we have to update, or else we have to add the data. Okay, now the problem is, now here we will be having one issue. Now whenever I click on this, this model is getting opened and here the values are displayed. Now if I just close this one and if I click on add new user, you can see the values, whatever fields I have clicked, that values are still present inside this one. Okay, I don't want this one. Whenever I click on add new user button, I don't want any field should be displayed here. I want empty fields. Okay, because we are adding the data, so we don't need anything. Only when we update the data, only that field should be displayed. Now again, if I just click on this update, okay, I'll just close this. Now when I click on this, you can see the values are present whenever I click on this add new user. I don't want this to happen. Again, when I click on this Ramesh, you can see here values are having. For update we need values. I'll close this, but when I click on this add new user, you can see the values are present. I don't want this to happen. So what we are going to do is, whenever we click on this add new user button, we just have to remove the values. We have to reset the form, and also we are just going to remove the value from here. Okay, whatever value we are having, we will be removing that one, and also we are just going to clean the form whenever we click on this add new user button. Again, when I click on this Suresh edit button, okay, now here I am having values. I can update Suresh values here. I can just click on submit. The value will be updated here. You can see 1, 2, 3. But again, if I just click on add new user, okay, now the values are not present. Without updating, I'll just click on this. Now if I directly close without updating, without clicking on submit button, now if I click on add new user button, you can see the values are there. I don't want this to happen. Okay, this is the kind of issue. This is kind of error we are having inside the code. We have to solve this one. Okay, so here inside index.php, wherever we are having this add new user button, here I am having this one. Okay, inside index.php we have already created. Now here inside this I am just going to create id. id is equal to, let me just write here, add user button. Okay, I have just created this id. I'll just copy this id. I'll be coming to script.js. Now below this edit function, okay, we have written this doc on click event for editing function. Now here I'll be writing on click for adding user btn. Now here below this I'll just access that id. Inside this hash I'm just going to paste that id, add user button. Whenever I click on this one, let me just write here, whenever I click on this, I just want this function to be executed. And inside this function, first I have to reset the form. Okay, for resetting the form, I'll just come to form.php, and inside this, for this I have just given the id as add form. I'll just copy this id, and here inside this I'm just going to access that id. I'll just paste that id, and now I'm just going to reset the form. For resetting we just have to write like this. After that I just have to clean all the values. I don't want any value should be present inside that one. And also inside form.php we have created this to input field, and for that I have just given this id as user id and name as user id. And also we are just going to remove this user id, because whenever we are having user id, the data will be updated, but if we are not having user id, the data will be inserted. Now what I am going to do is, I am just going to empty this value, which means that whenever I empty this, I don't have this value with me, so the data will be inserted. I am just going to copy this one, and here below this I'll just access that one first. I'll just write here $, and inside this I'm just going to access that id, user id dot value. Okay, whatever value I'm having inside that one, I just want to empty that values. Okay, these 3 lines you have to pass, or else whenever you click on add new user button, all the values will be displayed if you have not updated that values. This is how we are going to write the function, and we are going to perform this activity. Now whenever I click on this, edit user, now if I just edit this one, when I click on submit, okay, the data will be updated. Now when I click on this, you can see the form is empty. Now here when I click on this, the data is there. I have not updated anything. I'll just close the form. Now when I click on this add new user button, you can see the form is empty. Okay, all the values whatever I was having, that is been deleted from here. Okay, I don't have any data inside this form. Okay, this is how we are going to remove all the values. We are going to clean the form whenever we click on this add new user button. I don't want any data here, so I'm just writing that one, and the data will be erased. Again when I click on this, let me just click on this, and here I'll be adding 3. I'll just add 3. Submit. Now you can see the data is been updated, but when I click on this, you can see the form is empty here. Okay, once my data is updated, the form will be empty, but without updating, if I just close this form, okay, I don't want to update anything, I'll just close this one. If you would have not cleaned your form, then whenever you click on this add new user button, all the fields would have been displayed. But here I have just cleaned that one. Now when I click on this, you can see the fields are empty. Okay, I don't have any data inside this one. We are just going to perform like this. We are just going to access the ID. Whenever I click on this, I'm just going to reset the form, and here I'm just going to reset the value. I don't want any value inside that. Okay, this is how we are going to perform this one, and we will improve our code. Okay, now next we are going to see about delete.